الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار وبشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. My brothers and sisters, the month of Ramadan has many virtues, and if we wanted to speak about all the virtues in Ramadan, we should have started before Sha'ban. But what I want us to understand is one of the virtues of Ramadan is what I want to talk about. To introduce the khutbah. One of the virtues of Ramadan is that Ramadan gives us the opportunity to move away from the fire of hell. You see, in this masjid right now, there's not a single person, even with our differences in our commitment to Islam, our differences in sizes, ages, colors, our differences in our taqwa, every single one of us in this room wants to stay away from the fire of hell. So Ramadan is an opportunity. It's an opportunity for us to stay away from the fire. And this is not just a kalam, a claim from me as the khatib. It is established in the sunnah. The Prophet ﷺ mentions in the hadith. He says, إِذَا جَاءَ رَمَضَانَ فُتِحَتْ أَبْوَابُ الْجَنَّةِ وَغُلِّقَتْ أَبْوَابُ النَّارِ. When Ramadan comes, the doors of Jannah are open and the doors of the gates of hellfire. What does this mean? This can mean the physical doors. The physical doors are open for Jannah, but also it can also mean the opportunities to enter Jannah are open. The doors of Jahannam are closed. This can mean physically, but it can also mean the opportunities to run away and to stay away from being the people of fire are open. My brothers and sisters, one of the virtues of Ramadan is that it gives us the opportunity to stay away from the fire of hell. What's another example? The Prophet ﷺ mentions in the hadith, said, لِلَّهِ وَتُقَاعُهُ مِنَ النَّارِ وَذَلِكَ كُلَّ لَيْلَةٍ مِنْ Ramadan. Every night in Ramadan, from the first night to the last night, every single night, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will save people from the fire of hell. These two hadiths showing you that one of the virtues of Ramadan is that to give us the opportunity to not be the people of the fire of hell. Another hadith that shows this example, that one of the virtues of Ramadan is that we get the opportunity to move away from the fire of hell, is that this description of Siyam. When the Prophet ﷺ mentions, he says, إِنَّمَا السِّيَامُ جُنَّةٌ يَسْتَجِنُّ بِهَا الْهَبْدُ مِنَ النَّارِ. He says, verily fasting, inside or outside of Ramadan, fasting is like a shield. It's like a shield by which the servant seeks protection from the hellfire. See, my brothers and sisters, Ramadan is an opportunity for me and you. It's an opportunity for us to stay away from the fire of hell, and it's an opportunity for us to go to Jannah. But what Ramadan is this? Which Ramadan is this? Is it the one that we do? It's the Ramadan that we strive for. You see, there's a practice between the companions, radiallahu anhum ajma'in. There's a practice between them. Whenever they're confronted by a big ibadah, the companions, what they used to do, in trying to fulfill this ibadah, they will try to manage it by breaking this big ibadah up. And who are they taught by? They were taught them no other than the Nabi. And it's expressed in the Sunnah. The importance of preparation or taking precaution. And this concept is in the Quran. If someone comes for Ramadan, what do? They make preparation. He prepares, he takes precautions. The Quran mentions that the Muslims take precautions. In the surah, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talk about jihad, He mentions, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu khudhu hidrakum fanfiru thabatin aw infiru jami'a. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran, talking about jihad. He said, all you who believed, take your precautions and either go forth in companies or go forth altogether. Talking about jihad. When they go out for jihad, fi sabilillah, they have to take precautions, the necessary precautions. They have to prepare. They can't just go by themselves. They have to take caution, and they can't throw caution in the winds. This is for jihad. They have to prepare for the jihad. What are examples of taking precautions in the Quran? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran. He mentions when the believers are going for jihad, He says to them, they should prepare whatever from them they're able to. They should take precautions from the spoils of war, so they can position themselves to make the enemy terrified of them. So in the Quran, we have evidence to show that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands us to be a people who prepares and takes precautions. Imagine someone who wants to get married and they don't take precautions for it. They don't prepare for marriage. Imagine someone who's doing an exam, but they don't prepare for the exam. They don't study. We have to take precautions. We have to prepare. If you don't prepare, you prepare to fail. So from the hikmah of the companions and from the high level of taqwa and from the understanding of the deen of Islam, what they used to do is they used to break up big ibadahs and they used to break it up into small sections. Like the companions, they used to break Ramadan into 3. 10 days, 10 days, 10 days. After the first 10 days, one of them will sit down and reflect. These past 10 days, Ramadan's finished. The 10 days of Ramadan just went past. How did I do? Did I complete the goals I set for myself before Ramadan? Did I waste time? Am I spending time wisely? They used to reflect my time. 10 days gone. The next 10 days, after the 10 days again, this time, how did I spend this time? And from the last days, they used to, as narrated by Aisha, that the Prophet ﷺ, on the last 10 days of Ramadan, he used to almost tighten his belt. He used to be more focused, more serious. What am I trying to say? The companions, after each day, they used to reflect. 10 days is gone. 10 days is gone. Next 10 days, they need to reflect. And the last 10 days, they used to hurry up. You see, someone might say, okay, only in the last 10 days am I going to be serious. It is from the shaitan for a person to just say that only in the last 10 days, because it's Laylat al-Qadr, that I'm going to pay attention and be focused. My brothers and sisters, today is the 12th day of Ramadan. The second Friday, the second Jummah of Ramadan, the 12th day of Ramadan. We have to ask ourselves, where have these days went? How do we spend these days? How do we spend our days? You see, the one in this room, the one person who is the highest Muslim, highest Iman, only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows the one in this room. He himself or she herself is not even safe or secure. They don't even know if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept the ibadah. They don't even know. They don't know if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept their deeds. And this is the person, the best from us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْتُونَ مَا آتَى وَقُلُوبُهُمْ وَجِلَتْ أَنَّهُمْ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهِمْ رَاجِعُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran, and they who give what they give while their hearts are fearful, because they know they will return to Allah. So the people who do ibadahs, they do. Aisha, she was reading this ayah. Is this ayah referring to the Muslims who are like, make mistakes, they don't pray the salawat, they miss Taraweeh, they don't do the ibadah? No, the Prophet ﷺ mentioned, this is for the person who does this ibadah. He does the zakah. He gives the sadaqah. He prays the salah in the masjid. He fasts his siyam. He's dutiful to his parents. This is the person, after doing this, they're still afraid. Will Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept this for me? Will Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept this for me? This is the person this ayah is about. My brothers and sisters, what you have to know is Ramadan is the month of jihad. The month of jihad. Jihad al-nafs. Even on the 17th day of Ramadan, the battle of Badr was fought. Did you know that? The battle of Badr was fought on the 17th day of Ramadan. It was fought in Ramadan. This war commencing in Ramadan serves as a great lesson to us. It shows to us that this month is about struggles, about making sacrifice. And the best sacrifice you can make is jihad and war against yourself. Jihad al-nafs. You see, a person has to make jihad in this Ramadan to be able to come to Taraweeh. Oh, I'm too tired. I'm working all day. You have to make jihad. Oh, 11 rakah is too much. 1 juz is too much. You have to make jihad al-nafs on yourself. A newly married man has to make jihad on himself. He only got married. He has to make jihad on himself to quench his desires, so he doesn't commit sin during the day of Ramadan. We all know the hadith of the two companions who came to the Prophet. One man came to the Prophet. He asked the Prophet, in Ramadan, can I kiss my wife? The Prophet said, yes. Another person came. He asked the Prophet, can he kiss his wife? The Prophet said, no. Why did he say no? Because the second man was younger, and he's afraid that if he kisses his wife, it will lead to other things. So what's the point I'm trying to make? The newly married man has to make jihad in nafs for himself. Even the person married for a long time, you have to make jihad to nafs in yourself to quench your desires and not to break your fasting Ramadan. We also have to make jihad in nafs and make peace with people that we're fighting. The people of us were fighting, we have ongoing fights with people. You see, inside and outside of Ramadan, on Mondays, yesterday was Thursday, on Monday and Thursdays, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take all the deeds of Bani Adam, and all the deeds of Bani Adam are sent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on Mondays and Thursdays. So all the deeds are sent, except for the deed of someone who has an ongoing dispute with somebody. Ongoing dispute. You can't solve this. If you can't have jihad and nafs to make peace with the other person in Ramadan, when will you have the time? If you can't make jihad and nafs to come closer and make peace with your wife, make peace with your children, make peace with your friends, with your community in Ramadan, when will you have time? See, my point is, my brothers and sisters, Ramadan is the month of jihad. Jihad and nafs. Jihad to complete the deeds. You see, in our masjid, we're making jihad in standing in the qiyam. We're making jihad by instructing people to give donations to the people of Gaza and to give donations to the masjid. We're making jihad and giving sadaqah. We're making jihad by creating opportunities for the young shabab to learn about salah, to learn about purification, to learn about tajweed. We're making jihad by teaching people the religion. But I say again, it's the 12th day of Ramadan. 12 days are past now in Ramadan. A person needs to look at yourself. You need to look at yourself. Everybody needs to look inside. And you need to reevaluate yourself. Okay, this past 10 days now. Is it the same Ramadan as last year in which it has no impact? Where you just wasted it? If you realize it's like the other Ramadans, you need to stop. Sit down and reevaluate yourself. What do you need to do? It's the 12th day of Ramadan. This was a practice of some of the companions. They used to practice this. They used to practice this jihad. You see, my brothers and sisters, one of the best jihad you can do in Ramadan. The biggest jihad. The biggest jihad that many of us fall short in. And it's one of the best ibadah you can do inside and outside of Ramadan. To the extent that the shaitan doesn't want you to do this. Because the shaitan knows that if you have this ibadah patterned, and you have it correct, all the rest of your deeds and ibadah will be easier. So shaitan doesn't want you to get this ibadah. To the extent that whoever has this ibadah correct, he positions himself to have a good Ramadan. And he positions himself to be a wali of Allah, even though he's not a scholar. What is this jihad that this person has to strive? This jihad is the person of reading the Quran. 12 days in Ramadan. This is the 12th day in Ramadan. How much of the Quran have you read thus far? How much of what you read do you understand? You see, before Ramadan, we made goals for ourselves. I'm going to read this 1 juz a day, half a juz a day. I'm going to revise I'm going to do memorization. How many of that have you done now? How many of that have you done now? This is the 12th day of Ramadan, my brothers and sisters. In the masjid, I think today we're going to be commenting the 12th juz. If a person is honest with himself, with your own reflections of the amount of Quran you read as an individual, if you want to be sincere in yourself, most of us will say, well, yes, we fall short. Then this is the time to correct ourselves. Sit back, think, reevaluate yourself, and fix up. You see, my brothers and sisters, in the Yawm al-Qiyamah, the Prophet ﷺ will complain about me and you. He'll say, وَقَالَ رَسُولِ يَا رَبِّي إِنَّ قَوْمِ اتَّخَذُوا هَذَا الْقُرْآنَ مَحْجُورًا. Indeed, my people are taking this Quran as a thing of abandonment. Even in Ramadan, people are abandoning the Quran. And the scholars say abandoning the Quran can mean different things. The first type is the one who doesn't read the Quran. You don't know how to read it. You don't read the Quran. That's the first type of the people who abandon the Quran. The second type is the one who reads it but doesn't read it consistently. You said in the first day of Ramadan, you open the Quran, you read it. 5th day, the Quran is gone. You don't read it anymore. Go to work. I'm busy. The third thing is that one way we abandon the Quran is that we don't understand it. We don't understand the Quran. And the fourth one is that we don't apply it. The biggest jihad that you can make in this Ramadan is jihad with the Quran. وَقُولُوا قَوْلِ هَذَا وَاسْتَغْفِرُ اللَّهَ وَلَكُمْ. Let's ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness. Bismillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah. The month of Ramadan is the month of jihad, my brothers and sisters. It's not a coincidence that the month of Battle of Badr was fought. This is the month of the Quran, and the recitation of the Quran is one of the major jihad. What's the claim? How do I know this? Am I just saying this? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala established this in the Quran. It says in the Quran, it says, فَلَا تُطِعِ الْكَافِرِينَ وَجَاهِدْهُمْ بِهِ جِهَادًا كَبِيرًا. جِهَادًا كَبِيرًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was telling the Prophet, he said, "Oh, Ya Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, don't obey the disbelievers and strive against them with the great striving." And the scholars, is consensus of the scholars, this great striving, what is he talking about? This great striving is the Quran. So don't obey or listen to the people. Don't listen to the society. Don't strive against them with this major jihad, and this jihad is the Quran. So if your person is sincere with himself, if you're sincere with yourself, ask yourself, is What have we done with the Quran thus far? This is the word of the Quran. Does that show in my life? Does that show in your life? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran, He says, إِنَّا سَنُلْقِي عَلَيْكَ قَوْلًا ثَقِيلًا. Yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says He made the Quran heavy. Heavy in word. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made it easy for us to read. Easy for us to read by reading it in Arabic. Easy for us to read by those who have high determination. Not for the one who has low determination, they're just watching Netflix, scrolling on social media. The one who has high determination, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the Quran easy for you. You see, the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in which every Ramadan, he would recite the Quran with Jibreel alayhi salam. And on the year he died, he completed the Quran twice. My brothers and sisters, are you making your jihad? Am I making my jihad? This is the month of jihad. And the major jihad we can do is to connect with this Quran. For those of you memorizing, I did muraja on what you're memorizing. For those of us reading, are we understanding what we're reading? If we don't make this jihad in this month, how will we make it next month? If this the month where the shayateen, the external shayateens are away, the only shayateen we're battling is within ourselves. So my brothers and sisters, make jihad, make jihad, make jihad against yourself, and make jihad by reading the Quran. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive our sins. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to free the people of Gaza, free the people of Palestine, to punish the oppressors, to unite them, all the shuhada in Jannah to Firdaus. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our Ramadan, to increase us in Iman, to not let us be lazy, to increase us in worship, to not let us be among the people of Shaitan. Wa aqimu salah.
Tamam, brother, please.